Hi everybody, I'm Cindy and you're watching Ideas Times 2. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you for joining me today for this tutorial. I am in the middle of making a vintage school theme journal, and it's a small book, just 2 signatures, but I wanted to add something. So today I want to make a folio or a small insert to go into a pocket I'm putting on the back cover, the inside of the back cover, and so that's my plan for today. And you don't need a lot for this project. Really, you just need some paper. I'm going to be using 3 8.5 by 11 pieces of cardstock, and this is just your standard craft. If you want to use a patterned paper, patterned cardstock, that would be fine, but I want to have a plain base so that I can decorate it and embellish it and do some collaging or layering on it. So I'm going to start with just a plain base. And if you don't have 8.5 by 11, that's fine. Just cut it down to the size that we need. And you don't even have to cut it to 8.5 by 11 to get to what we need. So you don't need to waste anything. You'll also need a scoreboard, your trimmer, a pair of scissors, and your bone folder, and some kind of adhesive. I'm going to be using Fabri-Tac because that's what is out, what I have handy, but if you would rather use a double-sided tape or a glue stick, that would be fine too. So just your basic supplies, nothing fancy. So we'll move those off to the side, and we're going to start with making the center of the trifold, which is just a big pocket. And I like to give credit where credit is due, and I saw this on Pinterest. I was just scrolling and came across this old video, and I believe it's from one of the contributors to the design team for Graphic 45, and I don't remember the name off the top of my head. I'll try to remember to put that in the link down below. But hopefully this will all go together well for us today. So the first thing we need to do is trim one of these pieces down to 5 1/4 inches, and I'm going to leave the length at 11. And hang on to this to make something with later. Add that to my scrap stash. And then we want to score this at 6 inches. And this paper is pretty hefty, so I'm going to go over it a couple of times. And then I'm going to rotate it. And then this will be the longer piece here, it's shorter down here. The score line that we just made should be on the 6-inch mark on the side of your scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, you can still do this just using a ruler. It's a little harder. Well, at least for me, I'm terrible at stuff like that. A scoreboard is an essential for me. So now we're going to score on the 1/2 inch mark on the left side. Whoops. And then on the right side, we're going to go a 1/2 inch from the side, and so that should be at the 4 3/4 mark. I'll move this now out of the way, and what we're going to do now, so you can see the lines, we're going to cut this and this off of the long side. So I'm just going to use the score marks as my guide. If you want to use your paper trimmer for this, that would be fine too. But I think it's just as fast to use a pair of scissors. Okay. So now what you're going to want to do is fold and burnish at the score marks. And do the same thing for the sides here. For the gussets, that's what basically we're making right here, is gussets on a pocket. And then down on the bottom, on these two tabs, we're going to just cut off an angle from each side. And you don't need to measure this, I'm just eyeballing it. Nobody's going to see it, it's not going to hurt anything. And so it'll look like this. So when we close it, this is our pocket right here. If you would like to add a decorative trim using, I don't know, your pinking shears or a decorative scissors, you could do that. With the style of journal I'm making, I think just a thumb tab would be perfect. And I'm going to, before I do anything else, I'm going to ink just here before I glue. And since nobody wants to watch me just sit and ink, I'll just do that right there. And you can, it helps you probably see it better as well, right? So next thing to do is to glue it shut. So pretty simple. This pocket could be just without the rest of the trifold. Could be used in a journal. You could, glue it and stick it on a page in a journal. You could make it a flip. You can do lots of things with a simple structure like this. But that's it. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, because it's going to be glued to the side pieces, it might be easier to ink the whole thing before we glue the whole thing together. But that's it for the center. So I'm going to move that to the side. And grab the other pieces of paper. And now we're going to trim both of the other pieces down to 8.5 by 9. So it's already 8.5, so now we need to trim off the long side at the 9-inch mark. And I think that's it for the paper cutter. So I'm going to grab the scoreboard, and you might want to write some of this down because we're going to do a bit of scoring. And because the paper is pretty thick, I'm going to do one page at a time. And with the 9 inches going across the top, we're going to score at 6 inches. And you'll probably want to do both at the same time. I'm going to just do one for the sake of the video. But so the first mark is at the 6 inch, and then we're going to rotate this direction so that the score mark we just made is on the 6 inch here on the side. Now we're going to go to the 3 1/4, and we're just going to make a tick mark. So if you can see that, just a small line right there. And then we're going to go to the 3 3/4 and score all the way to the bottom. The next one we're going to do is a little confusing. So we're going to go to the 7 1/2 inch mark, which is right here, but we're not going to score from there. We're going to score from the 6 inch mark down here. So we want to go, and so I'm using a ruler to help guide because the mark is so far up here. I want to make sure that I actually am following the right trench here, and that's on the 7 1/2 inch mark, going down here to the 6 inch. Whoops. Need to do a better job of holding that down here. So you'll have a score mark just down here in this spot right there. Okay, so now we don't need that anymore, and we're going to score at the 7 5/8, and that's from the top to the bottom, and then from the 7 3/4. So now we're going to want to cut this right here and this right here. So from that score mark that we made just right there and over, so I'm going to maybe trim this off. And on the other side. And just like the other piece, if you would rather do this with your trimmer, that would be fine. So when you're done, your piece should look like this. And then you want your other piece to look exactly the same. So I'm going to do this one off camera just to keep the video short, and I'll be right back. All right, so you should have two pieces that look exactly the same, and I think I did a better job on the one I did off camera, but there we go. I think I'm done with the scoreboard, so I'm going to move that off to the side. And clean up my mess a little bit. So I'll have two that look just like this. And the one on the right side, flip over like this. That way it'll keep you from accidentally gluing the wrong sides of your paper. So now we have our, actually let's do this first. So what you're going to do at that tip mark, you're going to fold over a fold over the corner, and you're going to do the same thing on both of them. Burnish it really well. And on this one, so there's the score mark right here, and I'm going to fold that over, making sure it's even. And glue them down, or you can trim them, either way, doesn't matter. Not very much glue is coming out. I'm trying to be judicious on the amount of glue so I don't have a lot of ooze, but it's probably not enough glue. And then do the same thing on the other side. So this one, of course, I got some ooze. That's okay. So make sure that they're nice and flat. They look good. And then we're going to fold on our score mark. Fold it over like that on each side. And burnish that crease. So if you want, you can glue it down on, on the sides, the open sides here. I'm only going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom. Because I want to leave the side open. I think that'll suit my purpose. Like this. Make sure everything's nice and flat. So you can see it's starting to take shape. To make sure there's a little ooze here on the bottom. I don't want that pocket to, this pocket to stick, so I'm going to just rub that off. So you can see here I'm leaving that side open. If you want to close it so it's more of a pocket like this, that would work fine too. So, get my hole punch again. Now for this pocket, this is going to flip up. Flip up like this. And so for this, I also want to make another thumb tab. And then the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to glue. See, I got a little sloppy on this one. I knew I had. This is the one I made off camera. This is the one I made on camera. And I knew I'd gotten sloppy on that mark right there. But I think it'll be okay when I embellish it. I think it'll all work out in the end. Because when we make mistakes, or like one of my students said, in art, there are no mistakes. So this isn't art, you know, it's just crafting. But see if I can get this a little straighter. And I'm going to go ahead and ink it before I glue. And on the side, the outside, I can leave that and do that all at the end. So you could do the same thing on this side and just leave it open, but I want this to be a pocket. And so I'm going to just glue on the sides. And I'll be able to fix this when I'm decorating, so I'm not worried about that. A little annoyed at myself for that, but I'm not mad because I can fix it. And then the same thing on the other side. Okay. Make sure everything is nice and pressed. So not too bad. Now grab your pocket, your middle pocket, because we're going to put the 3 pieces together. But before we do that, I'm going to trim the flaps. Just put an angle up to the first tick mark. Don't go over the tick mark. I'm going to do that on both the top and the bottom, on both sides. Get rid of my scraps here. Okay, so now you can see how they're going to fit together. So we're going to glue both flaps up to, but not over, the score mark, because we want to leave a bit of a gusset. So when I put stuff in the pockets, they will not have alligator mouth. So on both sides, up to but not over the score mark. And so that's what it looks like on the back. I know you probably can't see that real well, but there we go. And then now I'm going to fold. This might have been easier before, but I'm going to fold on on those score marks. Whoops, 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 whoops. One thing I really like about Fabri-Tac is that it dries pretty fast, but not so fast you can't move things back. So we can fold on that first line, and then fold on the second tick mark. So you can see it makes just that little tiny bit of a gusset on each side, so that when your pockets are full, it doesn't all pop with alligator mouth. Perfect. I think once it's decorated, it'll all be good. So let's see if I have anything that will go inside of our pockets here. Maybe not. I have, like I could put, obviously not a tag this big, but I have lots of big tags. Put this tag in there, and I've got some I think everything is too big. And put a card in here, card on the other side. There we go, and got some little tags. They're not quite finished. I still need to put some ribbon or silk or something in there. But you can kind of see how it all fits together, and then it folds over, and then we have that gusset to keep things from getting too out of control. And now comes the fun part. Now I'll be able to decorate. And when you close it, you can close it either direction. And I'm probably going to put a ribbon. I'm going to just do like a ribbon closure or something on there. But super cute, right? And it'll be even cuter when I'm done decorating. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this little project and that you give it a try. If you do, and you are a member of our Facebook group, post some pictures. We'd love to see what you made. And if you're not a subscriber, we would appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. If you want to get notifications, click on the bell. Leave a comment down below. We'd appreciate hearing from you. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today, and I will see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.